Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled The Legend of Joe Ryan, Mustaches, Deception, and a Hall of Fame Curveball. Welcome to Off the Timeline. Today's episode, oh, it's a doozy. We're talking about a man who climbed the Hall of Fame ladder, one deceptive fastball, one philosophical tweet, and one waxed mustache at a time. Joe Ryan. Now, if you're a casual baseball fan, you might remember him as that dude with the funky motion on the Padres, or maybe that guy who threw a 78-mile-per-hour change ball and made Mookie Betts cry. If you're more the stats type, you're probably already crafting a hot take involving his stuff plus metrics, his xERA stabilizers, and why he had more spin than a PR firm. Either way, buckle up because today we're diving deep into the alternate MLB timeline where Joe Ryan becomes a cult hero on the Padres, reinvented the Brewers, starred in a Greta Gerwig Netflix doc, and walked into Cooperstown wearing a Hall of Fame blazer that may or may not have been made of deception and polyester. This is the mustache-powered journey of Joe Ryan, baseball's most likely Hall of Famer. Act 1. The draft day that changed everything. Let's rewind the clock to 2018, when the air was filled with promise. Shohei Ohtani was just learning what the phrase Tommy John meant, and the Tampa Bay Rays thought they were getting a sleeper in Joe Ryan. Except in this universe, the San Diego Padres spin this wheel of randomness, land on Joe Ryan, and say, you know what? We'll take the guy with the physics-defying fastball and philosophy major vibes. They draft him in the seventh round, replacing Grant Little, a guy who, fun fact, once hit 250 for a team in Amarillo. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Ryan's early scouting report, here's the TLDR. Fastball, 92 miles per hour, but looked like 106 because it carried like a soap bubble. Delivery, something between a swine dive and a DJ scratching vinyl. Vibes, unmatched. He was instantly labeled by Padres nerds as the pitch tunneling savant, and by traditional scouts as a guy who won't make it past Double A without a beard oil sponsorship. But the Padres, who are in the middle of one of the most chaotic prospect hoarding phases, saw the light. And so began the career of Joe Ryan, pitching philosopher, king of confusion, and eventual mustache messiah. Act 2. The rise of the deception ERA. By 2020, Joe Ryan made his major league debut due to what we call a COVID rotation crunch, aka the we're out of pitchers emergency. And he was electric, not in a throw gas and scream in your glove way, more like quietly exceed your expectations with a rising fastball at 91 that somehow caused grown men to miss by a foot. The advanced stats teams had a field day with quotes such as Ryan's vertical approach angle is unhittable. He's a deception merchant. This guy might be pitching Jesus if he grew his hair longer. Meanwhile, casual fans just called him the Wizard because batters looked like they were swinging at ghosts, real ones. But the real turning point came in 2021 when he struck out Mookie Betts 3 times in one game. Mookie's face after the third strikeout looked like someone told him his gold gloves are counterfeit. That's when the Dodgers declared war. They accused Ryan of tipping pitches to himself with coated glove taps, using clear fingernail polish for optical disruption, having vibes that were statistically unfair. The league investigated, found no wrongdoing, but that didn't stop the memes. Confuse him t-shirts, fear the stash hashtags. Ryan's own postgame quote, I don't throw 99, I throw questions. By 2023, he was the Padres' opening day starter in the face of a movement. The deception era was born. His war against velocity-first pitchers became a subplot worthy of a Marvel series. Tyler Glasnow called him the anti-flame. Chris Paddock, former teammate turned sworn rival after Ryan took his job, Paddock later threw at Ryan. Ryan responded with poetry. Logan Webb called him a pitch lab hologram. Ryan responded by shutting out the Giants and doing the robot on the mound. Yes, the robot. Joe Ryan wasn't just pitching. He was performance, art, and winning while doing it. Act 3. Let's talk about Joe Ryan's following, because at some point between 2024 and 2026, Joe Ryan stopped being a baseball player and became a vibe. Brewers fans who inherited him via free agency after the Padres blew it embraced the chaos. They grew mustaches. They carried mustache combs to games. They chanted deception every time he got two strikes. And in 2026, they even started a mid-inning ritual called the coil. Fans stood up and slowly rotated their arm like Joe's delivery. Ryan rewarded them with a 17-6 season, a 2.75 ERA, another playoff run where he struck out Troy Womack, the league's new flame-throwing loudmouth, on three change-ups and whispered, "I am the mirror" afterwards. Casual fans were baffled. Hardcore baseball fans ecstatic. Social media baseball, also known as the most unhinged sports fan subgroup in history, had weekly debates over Ryan's Stuff Plus versus his Aura Plus, whether deception was real or just vibes and stats. Who would win a duel, Joe Ryan or a hologram of Greg Maddux? Meanwhile, Netflix is watching, and in 2027 they released the seven-part docuseries The Art of Deception: The Joe Ryan Story. It featured a narrated montage, animated reenactments of his 2021 stare-down with bets, and a dramatic episode called The Mustache Pact, where the Padres pitchers vowed to never shave until they beat the Dodgers. The series broke steering records for sports stocks not involving cheating scandals or Michael Jordan. Critics called it a surrealist masterpiece about sports identity and deception. Other quotes include "too weird to be true, but somehow exactly how I remember him." Act 4: The Comeback Nobody Expected. After his late career renaissance as a reliever, Joe Ryan did what all weird legends do. He retired and moved to Sedona to open a pitching dojo. Called the Tunnels of Truth Academy, it taught high school kids how to throw existential cutters and write poems about pitch sequencing. Everyone thought it was over. But in 2033, while visiting Brewers spring training, he threw a bullpen just for fun. A 22-year-old catcher named Austin Cartwright said it best. It moved like a ghost with a vendetta. Boom! Signed to a minor league deal. At age 37, Joe Ryan was back. A little slower, a little creakier, but still nasty. He introduced a new pitch, the sigh. 71 miles per hour, slight rise, caused three batters to quit baseball and one to get really into jazz. Over the next 3 years, he bounced around. Swingman in Milwaukee, independent league magician in Sugarland. One last call up with the Miami Marlins where Bryce Harper III hit a 497-foot moonshot and told him, "You're done, old man." He tipped his cap, waved to the crowd, and walked off. Forever? Yep. This time it stuck. Finale. Hall of Fame, mustache confetti, and legacy of confusion. Flash forward to 2045. The Hall of Fame ballot is stacked. Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., and yes, our boy Joe Ryan. The debates rage. He doesn't have the WAR. He was never the best in the league, but he changed the way we understand pitching. In the end, 76.4% of voters said yes. That's right. Joe Ryan made the Hall of Fame, and the ceremony, pure chaos. Fans in Cooperstown wore fake mustaches, did the coil during his intro music, and held signs that said "Confuse Me, King." His speech, the fastball told a story. The changeup asked a question, and you, the fans, gave me the answer. He thanked the Padres for drafting the chaos, the Brewers for believing in the weird, Chris Paddock for being my nemesis, my foil, my frenemy. He ended with a wink, and just like that, the mustache era ended in glory. Closing. So what's Joe Ryan's legacy? Stat-wise, 126 wins, 2.94 ERA, 43.5 WAR, over 2,200 strikeouts. A sneaky Hall of Fame resume, but impact-wise, he brought art back to the mound. He proved he didn't need 100 miles an hour to be elite. He turned deception into philosophy, and he made baseball a little weirder in the best possible way. Whether you're a casual or more hardcore fan or just someone who appreciates a good mustache, raise a glass to Joe Ryan, the king of confusion. And thanks for listening to this episode. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and next time we'll ask the important question. The important questions. Stay weird, stay deceptive, and remember, sometimes the best pitch isn't the fastest. It's the one they never saw coming.